We are now ready to start the 37th World Cultural Council Awards ceremony. I ask the audience to please rise. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would first like to introduce my co-master of ceremony, Professor Anna Laura Augeli, member of the Circle of Friends, the World Cultural Council.
Thank you. And I would like to introduce my co-master of ceremony, Professor Gary Marquis, Dean School of Engineering, Aalto University, and member of the World Cultural Council. It is our great honor to welcome you, our very distinguished guests, on this special occasion on the 37th award ceremony of the World Cultural Council, hosted by the University of Coimbra. This year's ceremony is taking place for the first time in Portugal.
Firstly, let us introduce the members of the Presidium. Professor Amilcar Falcao, Rector of the University of Coimbra. Professor Sir Fraser Stoddard, President of the World Cultural Council. Professor David Gross, member of the World Cultural Council. Dr. Esteban Mesaros Wild, Executive Director of the World Cultural Council. And Dr. René Asomoso Palacio, member of the World Cultural Council, attending on behalf of its founder and President Emeritus, Maestro Rafael Estrada.
Now, it is our pleasure to invite Rector Professor Amilcar Falcao to deliver the welcome address.
Honorable President of the World Cultural Council, Professor Sir Fraser Stoddard. Delegates of the World Cultural Council, 2022 laureates, President of Court of Auditors, represented by Judge Councillor José Queilas, members of General Council and Senate, directors of faculties and other organic units, Mayor of Coimbra City Hall, other civil, military, religious, and academic entities, distinguished guests from Portugal and abroad, dear students, ladies and gentlemen. In the name of the University of Coimbra, it is my great privilege and honor to welcome you all to the 37th World Cultural Council Award ceremony, which for the first time in its history will be held in Portugal. The World Cultural Council is an international non-profit organization founded in Mexico in 1982 by an initial group of 124 distinguished scientists, academics, and university leaders from 5 continents, with the mission of promoting a culture of tolerance, peace, and fraternity, looking for a true understanding among all, regardless of ideology, opinion, religion, race, or gender. The World Cultural Council pursues its mission by selecting, recognizing, and rewarding international excellence in the fields of science, education, and arts. Annually, it therefore grants the Albert Einstein World Award of Science, the José Vasconcelos World Award of Education, and Leonardo da Vinci World Award of Arts to outstanding individuals or organizations across the globe, whose work has had a significant and positive impact on the cultural enrichment and progress of humankind. Founded in 1290, the University of Coimbra is the oldest seat of higher education in Portugal and in Portuguese-speaking territory, as well as one of the oldest in the world. For over 7 centuries, the University of Coimbra has left an indelible mark on education, science, innovation, and culture at a global level. It therefore clearly and durably shares the same pillars that support core values and the mission that distinguish the WCC. The worldwide pandemic context did not make it possible to organize the award ceremony in 2020, as initially designed, a date that had a deep institutional meaning because it was the year in which the University of Coimbra celebrated its 730th anniversary. However, by hosting the ceremony in 2022, we are being able to take this great symbolism even further. On this date, we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the important achievements associated with the reforms of Marquis of Pombal, which result in a profound reformulation of Portuguese higher education. That is why the concept of create to renew was adopted as a common guiding theme for the award ceremony and for the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the Pombalino reforms. In fact, after more than 7 centuries, no organization can survive and remain dynamic if it does not have the capacity to continuously recreate itself. This is why we believe that the University of Coimbra is in itself a living example of cultural sustainability. Next year, we will celebrate the 10th anniversary of the UNESCO World Heritage Classification of the University of Coimbra. However, we are not just the oldest World Heritage University in a worldwide research group of 5, but also the only one classified on account of its tangible and intangible assets. That is the reason why the University of Coimbra is highly committed with the United Nations Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, and was the first higher education institution in Portugal to make a public and unequivocal commitment to them. The 2022 ceremony will be the first in the WCC history where all 3 awards will be given simultaneously. The winner of the 2022 Albert Einstein World Award of Science is Professor Victoria Caspi, Lawrence Trottier Chair in Astrophysics and Cosmology and Distinguished James McKeel Chair at McGill University and Director of the McGill Space Institute, Canada. She's a world leader in studies of neutron stars. Professor Caspi, unfortunately, cannot be present due to COVID, but the Vice Principal of Research from McGill University, Dr. Martha Carrego, has agreed to accept the award on her behalf. The 2022 José Vasconcelos World Award of Education will be granted to Professor Claudia Mitchell, Distinguished James McKeel Professor in the Faculty of Education of McGill University, Canada. The prize is an award for her life commitment to education as an inspiring teacher and passionate advocate for youth, especially transforming lives of thousands of young people from marginalized backgrounds. The architect and educator, Jeannie Yoon, Dean of the College of Architecture, Art and Planning at Cornell University, USA, has been selected as the winner of the 2022 Leonardo da Vinci World Award of Arts. The World Cultural Council will grant as well this year special recognitions to 13 young researchers and scholars from the University of Coimbra who have performed outstanding in the fields of science, education, or arts. They have distinguished themselves in the way they transfer the World Cultural Council values to society, putting their knowledge, energies, and commitment at service of the common good of humankind. Thanking you again for the great honor we have been given to host the 2022 award ceremony. I would like to conclude by expressing the wish that we may jointly promote a culture of tolerance, peace, and fraternity in a more sustainable world, as essential values commonly shared by the World Cultural Council and the University of Coimbra. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Rector Falcao. I now invite Professor Sir Fraser Stoddard, President of the World Cultural Council, to deliver his salutatory address. Sir Fraser.
Bom dia. I'd like to begin my salutary address by expressing my heartfelt thanks on behalf of the World Cultural Council, absolutely no holds barred, to the University of Coimbra, its rector, Professor Almacar Falcao, other university dignitaries, including Professor Claudia Cavadas, the Vice-Rector for Research and Doctoral Studies, its officials and authorities for their warm hospitality, and last but not least, the University of Coimbra for hosting this year's celebrations, not forgetting their stickability and patience following the commitment to host the event 4 years ago in 2019. The wonderful occasion we are witnessing yesterday and today should have taken place in 2020. Plans to hold the event were put on ice, if you like a cool idiom, or put on the back burner, if you prefer a warm idiom. The outcome was well worth waiting for because it has given the World Cultural Council the opportunity to add 3 outstanding role models to the pantheon of all-time WCC greats. Physicist Vicky Caspi from McGill University, who is in receipt of the Albert Einstein World Award in Science, visionary educator extraordinaire Claudia Mitchell, also from McGill University, who is in receipt of the 2022 Jose Vasconcelos World Award in Education, and architecture pedagogue Mei Jin Yoon from Cornell University, in receipt of the 2022 Leonardo da Vinci World Award in the Arts. Congratulations to all these 3 laureates. The WCC glass ceiling has been well and truly shattered. For its part, the University of Coimbra has every reason to claim pride of place as the oldest university here in Portugal, and one of the first universities to cut its teeth in Europe. The university has also every reason to be proud of its cultural heritage and to be cherished for its present-day commitment to environmental remediation and sustainability. On behalf of the World Cultural Council, I express my gratitude to the university authorities and staff. To use a very British phrase, they are playing a blinder. If I replace this phrase with an American counterpart, they are hitting the ball out of the park. Thank you, one and all, And finally, I return to the three award winners and the special recognition recipients. Congratulations to all of you, as well as to your families and friends, for working on a mission with a vision and commitment to a brighter future here, there, and everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Fraser. And now we have the great honor to introduce Dr. René Asomosa Palacio, who will present a message on behalf of Maestro Rafael Estrada, founder and president emeritus of the World Cultural Council.
Good morning. It's an honor for me to read the speech of Maestro Rafael Estrada, Distinguished Rector of the University of Coimbra, Professor Amilcar Falcao, Honorable President of the World Cultural Council, Sir Fraser Stoddart, 2022 laureates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to convey my warmest appreciation to the President Falcao and to the entire University of Coimbra community for hosting this award ceremony. In 2022, the World Cultural Council celebrates its 40th anniversary. On May 7, 1982, WCC was established with the mission of recognizing individuals that had made exceptional achievements in science, education, and the arts, and have contributed to humanity by promoting tolerance, peace, and fraternity for the well-being of all. While 40 years may be a noteworthy milestone for any organization, it pales in comparison to the 732 years that the University of Coimbra has served as an institution of education and learning. I congratulate this remarkable institution. As mentors, we are motivated by the conviction that education drives the real and long-lasting development of societies. In a world where alternative facts and alternative realities bombard young minds via internet and social media, an educator should never be content simply to produce students who are well-informed. Science needs to be tested and verified. Facts and truth are vital, but correct information must be reinforced. Our goal is to help students to develop knowledge by promoting an appreciation of culture, a foundation on ethics, and a commitment to integrity. My passion is that those who graduate from university should not only be competent professionals, but also exemplary citizens with a deep sense of morality and integrity. Young people who emerge from our institutions with such a foundation can, through time and experience, develop true wisdom. Wisdom enables leaders to view nature as an ally, to be guarded, respected, and sustained, rather than exploited. Wisdom empowers someone to work towards the goods of one's neighbor, regardless of race, culture, creed, ideology, or gender. As examples and role models for leaders of tomorrow, we have the great privilege of recognizing three remarkable individuals who, through their hard work, persistence, passion, and creativity have risen to the top of their professions. The dedicated and far-reaching work of the 2022 award winners, Victoria Caspi, Claudia Mitchell, and Mijin Jun, inspire all of us. My admiration goes to them and to many others who have combined a great heart with a brilliant mind. These are the words of Maestro Rafael Estrada, founder and president emeritus of the World Cultural Council. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Asomosa. Now I have the great privilege to introduce the University of Coimbra Ceremonial Brass Ensemble Charamella.
Thank you for that splendid performance. And now we move on the highlights of today, the presentation of the awards. It is an honor for me to introduce Professor David Gross, recipient of the 2004 Nobel Prize in Physics and member of the World Cultural Council, to reflect on the achievements of the winner of 2022 Albert Einstein World Award of Science, Professor Victoria Caspi. Please, Professor Gross, the stage is yours.
Bon dia. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the World Council and to introduce to you the winner of the 2022 Albert Einstein World Award of Science, Professor Vicky Caspi, the Lorne Trotter Chair in Astrophysics and Cosmology, and the distinguished James McGill Chair at McGill University, and the Director of the McGill Space Institute in Canada. Vicky is a world leader in the study of neutron stars, and her research group has produced many of the most exciting results, and continues to, in this field, and puts Canada in the cutting edge of astrophysics. Now, I was a professor at Princeton when Vicky was a graduate student, and I met her there, and she became somewhat of a family friend. She's a marvelous and brilliant, was a marvelous and brilliant young lady. She still is a marvelous and brilliant young lady. This prize is awarded in recognition of her fundamental contributions to our understanding of the most extreme form of stars. Stars eventually, if they're massive enough, collapse. Some of them form black holes. Some of them form neutron stars. If our sun was to collapse and form a neutron star, its diameter would be 1 kilometer or so. These neutron stars are incredibly interesting from many points of view. Vicky's thesis advisor at Princeton, Joe Taylor, used neutron stars, pulsars, neutron stars that rotate, and their magnetic field sends out a beacon of radio waves that provide incredibly precise clocks throughout the universe. And these clocks were used by Taylor to show that they probably were emitting gravitational waves and slowing down. And for that, he received the Nobel Prize in physics for verifying indirectly Einstein's theory of gravity. But neutron stars have many other interesting features. They give us an insight into what happens when ordinary nuclear matter is compressed to very high density. And Vicky has continued to work on the properties of neutron stars, especially those that have very intense magnetic fields, so-called magnetars, throughout her career. Her work connecting the X-ray flaring behavior to the timing properties has been fundamental in understanding the cause of the flares emitted by these stars, and the key differences in the structure and evolution of the magnetospheres of magnetars compared to ordinary neutron stars. The WCC acknowledges Professor Caspi's seminal and groundbreaking work involving dense stellar objects in general, and in particular neutron stars. Her work has had a major impact on astronomy, and recently she has turned her attention to a new astrophysical puzzle, the many fast, so-called FRBs, fast radio bursts, very energetic events that occur. It now has been shown, partly due to her work, from all over the universe, roughly at the level of 1,000 such bursts a day, lasting seconds and emitting radio waves that we detect on Earth. The origin and the meaning of these FRBs is still a mystery. And Vicky realized that in order to truly understand them, it would be necessary to construct new instruments. Now, many astrophysicists make important discoveries by using existing instruments like the Hubble telescope and other large instruments. Vicky led a group to create a new radio telescope, CHIME, Fast Radio Burst Project, a new kind of radio telescope which can accurately pinpoint the location and measure and observe these FRBs. And her group by now has discovered many more FRBs than all the other radio telescopes in the world. This has enabled Vicky and her colleagues to do what science is very good at, importantly, to disprove all sorts of ideas of what these FRBs might be. It's still not clear what they are, but with this new instrument, it seems likely that Vicky and her colleagues around the world will finally understand what these FRBs are in the near future. A true mentor, Vicky has had the ability to guide future leadership, be a recognized ambassador in science, and a very valued role model for young researchers, especially women. For those of us who had the pleasure of hearing her talk yesterday, it's obvious that she has an extraordinary ability to convey her work to the general public. Her lecture yesterday was brilliant and understandable, I think, to all of us, and made us understand why this field and her work is so exciting and groundbreaking. She's a worldwide recognized ambassador of science and certainly a valued role model for women in science. Professor Caspi's stature in the international community is widely recognized by the number of prizes and awards that she has received in addition to this marvelous award. The Shaw Prize, the Bakerian Medal and Lecture, the National Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada's Gold Medal for Science. She's a member of many societies, the Fellow of the Royal Society. She was just elected to our National Academy of Sciences and the Royal Society of Canada, along with many other prestigious organizations and awards. In summary, Professor Caspi has made, and continues to make, fundamental contributions to our understanding of the most extreme forms of matter and stars in the universe. And she's accomplished this by applying creative observational techniques and demonstrating strong leadership qualities that are necessary to create new instruments and direct large, diverse research teams towards a common goal. So it's a great pity for me personally that Vicky is unable to attend, but I congratulate her from afar on this well-deserved award. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Gross. Now we have a short video on the work of Professor Victoria Caspi.
Victoria Caspi is a world-renowned observational astrophysicist who has made major discoveries and important contributions to our understanding of the universe. Her research group has produced many of the most exciting and cutting-edge results in the study of rapidly spinning compact neutron stars called pulsars. CASPI is also investigating the mysterious and fleeting extragalactic pulses known as fast radio bursts, or FRBs, coming from far outside our galaxy.
It's not often that scientists get to discover and study a brand new phenomenon, a fresh new puzzle to tackle. And we really don't know what fast radio bursts are. We know they're coming from far outside the Milky Way galaxy, and some people hypothesize they're coming from neutron stars, but we really don't know that. It's currently an open mystery.
Using the revolutionary Canadian Hydrogen Intensity Mapping Experiment telescope known as CHIME, CASPI leads the FRB project. Thanks to the unique capabilities of CHIME, the team has discovered more FRBs than ever before.
We designed CHIME to map the cosmos, to see a huge fraction of the sky at any instant piece together the entire overhead sky.
CASPI has been honored with many major awards, including the Shaw Prize and the Gerard Hertzberg Canada Gold Medal for Science and Engineering. In 2019, Nature named her as one of the top 10 people who mattered in science. She considers her greatest research accomplishment the training and development of emerging researchers, students, and postdocs.
It is a tremendous honor to have won the Albert Einstein World Award of Science. I'm particularly proud of the fact that it is in part for mentorship and for the work I've done with students and postdocs over the years. That is one of my favorite aspects of my job, is first interacting with young people, young, hardworking, ambitious, curious people. They are just wonderful. They're the lifeblood of really research, certainly of my research, but I think research in general. To be honored for that work, it's like icing on the cake, because I just love doing it.
May I now invite Rector Amilcar Falcao, Sir Fraser Stoddard, and Dr. Esteban Wild to present the 2022 Albert Einstein World Award of Science. The Master of Ceremony will escort Professor Martha Crago, Vice Principal of Research at McGill University, to receive the award on behalf of Victoria CASPI. Rector Falcao, the diploma, please. And Dr. Wild.
And now, I invite the audience to view the acceptance speech from video Professor CASPI.
Dear World Cultural Council President Sir Fraser Stoddard, Professor Amilcar Falcao, Rector of the University of Coimbra, faculty and colleagues from the University of Coimbra, my fellow awardees, colleagues and friends. First, allow me to express how sad I am that I'm not with you today. I tested positive for COVID the night before my departure. I am fully vaccinated and I have never had COVID before, so this comes as a shock to me. I'm speaking from my bedroom, where I'm hiding from my family to avoid infecting them. I'm very disappointed not to be with you in the beautiful city of Coimbra at your spectacular university. I've been looking at photos online. However, I'm glad for the technology that allows me to express my tremendous honor and gratitude at being awarded the 2022 Albert Einstein World Award of Science. I'm a scientist because I simply love my job, and so to also receive this level of recognition is simply overwhelming. I want to thank many, many people who have helped along the way in my career, my PhD supervisors, Nobel laureate Joseph Taylor and Richard Manchester, my many research colleagues and collaborators in radio and X-ray astronomy, in particular, those who have devoted their careers to building and maintaining the incredible instruments I've had the privilege of using. I also want to thank McGill University and the Department of Physics for providing me such a stimulating and supportive place to do research. I am particularly delighted to have McGill's Vice Principal of Research, Martha Crago, present with you and able to accept the award on my behalf. Martha is one of my favorite people and has been a tremendous friend and mentor over the years, so I cannot think of anyone I'd rather have served this role. I also want to thank my many former and present students and postdocs, from undergraduates to master's to PhD students to postdoctoral fellows, who are the lifeblood of my research, and without whose energy, drive, creativity, probing questions, and ultimately friendship, I don't know where I'd be. Science is rewarding, but even more so is training the next generation of scientists and knowing they'll carry on long after I'm gone. Finally, I'd like to thank my family, my husband David and my children Ian, Julia, and Haley, as well as my sister Terry, for being so supportive and putting up with me and my work. Again, I apologize for not being with you there today, and I thank you so much for this tremendous honor.
Thank you, Professor Crago and Professor Cosby.
It is a pleasure to invite Professor Maria Paula Paixão to come forward. Professor Paixão is Dean of the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences to introduce the accomplishments of the 2022 winner of José Vasconcelos World Award of Education, Professor Claudia Mitchell. Please, Professor Paixão, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Magnificent Rector of the University of Coimbra, Honorable President of the World Cultural Council, Sir Fraser Stoddart, dear 2022 laureates, distinguished authorities, mainly the representative of the Tribunal de Contas, distinguished guests, dear colleagues. It is my great pleasure and honor to be able to present the 2022 José Vasconcelos, the 2022 laureate with the José Vasconcelos World Award of Education to Professor Claudia Mitchell, an outstanding scholar, researcher, and promoter of social change for girls, boys, and societies all over the world, thus enhancing a real inclusion, and whose lecture yesterday was inspiring and brilliant, and really stimulating for other scholars who want, in the fields of education and human development, who want to pursue a path. Professor Claudia Mitchell is a distinguished McGill professor in the Faculty of Education of McGill University in Canada. The prize is awarded for her life commitment to education as an inspiring teacher and passionate advocate for youth, especially transforming lives of thousands of girls, of young people from marginalized backgrounds in South Africa and many other countries all over the world, Africa, Asia, North America, etc. For more than 25 years, Professor Claudia Mitchell has provided leadership in various educational initiatives. For example, she directed the Canada-South Africa Education Management Program, which set up scholars and higher education institutes with a focus on school governance, gender equality, and the prevention of gender-based violence. She subsequently became professor and chair of the School of Language and Literacies at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Professor Claudia Mitchell established girlhood as an academic discipline. She co-founded and became editor-in-chief of Girlhood Studies, an interdisciplinary journal committed to participatory work with girls, for girls, and by girls, as she yesterday so brilliantly showed us. This journal was awarded a prize by the Association of American Publishers, which described it as the best new journal in social science. In addition to her outstanding scholarship and service, Professor Claudia Mitchell is known for her encouragement, generosity, and patience as a mentor and supervisor. She includes students in large-scale projects and creates communities of scholars and weaves networks of collaboration, both nationally and internationally. Professor Claudia Mitchell's work and passion mirror the dedication of José Vasconcelos, whose life work was to bring education to those most disadvantaged. So congratulations, Professor Claudia Mitchell.
Thank you, Professor Paixão. Now we have a short video on the work of Professor Claudia Mitchell.
Claudia Mitchell is a distinguished James McGill professor and an award-winning researcher in McGill University's Department of Integrated Studies in Education. She is the director of the Institute for Human Development and Well-Being, the founder of the Participatory Cultures Lab, and the editor-in-chief of the interdisciplinary journal Girlhood Studies.
My research, it's very much related to what I refer to as participatory, visual, and arts-based methodologies, mostly with young people, and primarily looking at areas of social justice issues that are particularly pertinent to young people. One key area is gender-based violence. I do a lot of work in relation to girls and young women. I started even a journal called Girlhood Studies as a way to not only look at the research, but also to ensure that there is like a broad discourse community around girlhood studies. Work on gender-based violence in particular, as we know, is a global phenomenon, and for me that right now is becoming, I guess, like the driving force for so much of my work, because there is so much to do and there's so little time to do it in the lives of young people. They're only young for so long. The work around gender-based violence with youth really starts with setting up workshops with young people themselves, usually with iPads or tablets or a cell phone, and really saying, what does this look like? Can you picture violence? And ultimately, can you picture the changes? These are areas that are really hard for people to put into words. It's a pedagogy of hope and imagination, and a pedagogy of reflexivity, of really looking back, is that the right story that we want? What do we want to do differently? And really, that's what addressing gender-based violence has to be about is how are we going to do it differently? How are we going to do it better? And how can we do it as a group? And how as a group can we imagine this work? Being honored with this award means a lot. I've been working in this area for a long time, but I have so many wonderful new students coming along, emerging researchers. Being awarded this prize, I think, really validates the notion of participation. It validates the idea of arts-based methodologies. It validates the idea that we solve social issues by talking with people, working with people. We don't solve them from somewhere else. The answers are right here. So having the opportunity for my students, my colleagues, the communities that I work with to recognize that this work is being honored and is being acknowledged by others, I think will have a tremendous impact on future work for new researchers. This work is important. It's award-winning work. It's important.
May I now invite Rector Amilcar Falcao, Professor Sir Fraser Stoddard, and Dr. Esteban Wild to present the 2022 Jose Vasconcelos World Award of Education. The Master of Ceremony will escort Claudia Mitchell to receive this award. Rector Falcao, please. Okay. Sir Fraser, the diploma. And Dr. Wild.
Now, I would like to ask Professor Mitchell to deliver her acceptance speech.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Honorary President, members of the World Cultural Council, Rector of the University of Coimbra, distinguished visitors, guests, and of course my fellow award winners. It is a great honor to receive the 2022 Jose Vasconcelos World Award of Education. I of course accept it in recognition of so many others with whom I've worked, young people around the world, teachers, other teacher educators, social researchers, on the many projects and the many social initiatives and interventions that we've been able to do. Education for me is so much about the social. Fundamentally, the social construction of knowledge, and in recognition of what I talk about all the time as the co-production of knowledge. And thinking not only of the co-production of knowledge, but the social responsibilities and the social action that is so needed to address the vast range of social inequities in our society. From what I have come to learn about the life of Jose Vasconcelos it is this very notion of the social that is so important, the social responsibility of his work in Mexico, how he saw the role of education in the classroom and in the streets, and not just for children, but for entire communities. Teachers were and are, in this way, cultural workers, and education itself is very much about the social. I see these key concerns now more than ever as a result of one of the most significantly telling experiments in the history of education. I use the word experiment in a very inverted comma way. School as we knew it came to an end for many people at the end of March 2020, sometimes for a short period of time, but sometimes for a much longer period of time, regardless of whether children and young people were in well-equipped classrooms anywhere in the world or in a school under a tree. The experiment of coping with COVID-19 altered the way we might think about education in many ways and social connections. The problems and the possibilities of using technology are now well known, and we continue to look at this further. However, this work also made us think again about how parents, most often mothers, had to become teachers alongside everything else they were doing. But for the millions of girls and young women in many lower and middle income countries, it meant lockdown, but it also meant that sometimes an absence of school as being the only safe place for girls, when historically so many countries were just getting there in ensuring that girls could go to school in the first place. It meant huge increases in gender-based violence, massive increases in teen pregnancy, that will mean that perhaps many girls will never return to school. We will be experiencing the impact of this experiment for decades to come. And in the meantime, teachers, social researchers, and policymakers in education must continue to play a key role in ensuring the very existence of our planet as we know it. So I am very honored with this award and what it might mean and how it recognizes education. I thank my students and colleagues throughout the years, the many international NGOs with whom I've been able to work, and especially the girls and young women whose courage continues to make such change. My thanks right now to McGill University. The dean of my faculty, Dr. Dilson Rassier, is here today. Dr. Martha Crego, whom you have just met, as the VP of Research and Innovation, and the amazing staff at McGill in the Office of Sponsored Research, who has supported me so much in my research endeavors. I thank my graduate students and my staff in the Participatory Cultures Lab. And finally, I thank my family. I have 3 daughters, Rebecca, Sarah, and Dorian, who've had to listen to me for so many years, talking about other people's children, and they are so important in there as well. And I thank my partner, Dr. Ann Smith, a scholar in her own right, who is here today. In accepting this award, I do pay tribute to teachers and teacher educators around the world. I leave you with words of an anthropologist. I know that over the years, things come and go, and perhaps we think of the politics of the world very differently now than we might have several decades ago. But there are some lines of Margaret Mead that I think are still very important today. She said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world." And indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mitchell. To pay tribute to the 2022 Jose Vasconcelos World Award of Education laureate, let us now enjoy a wonderful piece of music, Rosa, performed by the string quartet of Tuna Academica of the University of Coimbra.
Thank you for this inspiring performance. It is my pleasure to invite Professor Nuno Grande, coordinator of the Coimbra Studio Program in Architecture, to introduce the creative accomplishments of the 2022 winner of Leonardo da Vinci World Award of Arts, architect and educator Mei-Jin Young. Your introduction, please, Professor Grande.
Thank you. Magnificent Rector of the University of Coimbra, Honorable President of the World Cultural Council, distinguished authorities, dear colleagues. On behalf of the Department of Architecture of the Faculty of Science and Technology, it is my honor to present today the 22 Leonardo da Vinci World Award of Arts given to the architect and educator J. Mei-Jin Yoon, the Gail and Ira Drucker, Dean of the College of Architecture, Art and Planning at Cornell University, USA. Mei-Jin Yoon is an extraordinary leader in design practice, research and education who has an unwavering commitment to social justice, equity, environmental sustainability, and technological innovation deployed for the betterment of society. Her innovative and thoughtful designs of public memorials, installations, and structures are informed by a profound sense of historical and cultural context, as well as the need to inspire and bring communities together by providing places of remembrance and reflection that inspire hope and healing. Among her recent contributions are the Memorial for the Enslaved Laborers of the University of Virginia and the MIT Collier Memorial in honor of the fallen university police officer, Sean Collier. Yoon has received numerous awards and honors for projects that range in scale and kind, from buildings and public spaces to memorials and installations. She was recently elected to the American Academy of Arts and Letters. Her work has been exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, the Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art, and the National Arts Center in Tokyo, as well as in numerous other national and international venues. Her work has been featured in specialist publications, but also in newspapers like the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, among others. So, on behalf of all our architectural professors and students, of all architects, I vividly congratulate Mei-Jin Yoon for this award. Wherever he might be, I am sure Leonardo da Vinci must be quite pleased with the fact that you received this honor named after him.
Thank you, Professor Grande. Now, we have a short video on the work of Mei-Jin Young.
From architecture design to building technology, from climate adaptation to urban resilience, from digital fabrication to the creation of digital worlds, and from urban systems to circular construction, how we imagine, plan, and build is critical both to designing the future and the future of design. Cornell AAP is about acts of transformation. Art and design education has perhaps never been more critical or relevant. The capacity for creativity is not only among the highest forms of intelligence, but among the highest forms of human expression, essential to preparing the next generation of artists and designers to effect change and shape our future. Design is about future making. Design is about possibility and responsibility. Many of the most urgent problems and challenges of our day, from climate change to aging infrastructure to global urbanization to equity, are essentially design challenges. Howler + Yoon is a creative studio and design-driven architecture practice. We believe design is an instrument for imagining and implementing social, cultural, technological, and environmental change. Howler + Yoon is super hands-on. Our collaborative approach has enabled us to work on unprecedented projects, ranging from interactive landscapes, submersible structures, to massive stone vaults. The Collier Memorial is situated on MIT's campus in honor of Officer Sean Collier, who was shot and killed in the wake of the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. It's a stone vault created using timeless material, but with advanced building technology today. The memorial marks the site of tragedy, conveys strength through unity, and encloses a covered space for reflection and remembrance. The memorial to enslaved laborers opened on the University of Virginia grounds in 2021 after an intensive 5-year community-driven collaborative design process. The project was initiated by UVA students with support from the university president to publicly commemorate the enslaved people who built and maintained the campus. Using a combination of carefully researched historical information in the archives, thoughtfully sourced local materials, and innovative building technologies, the Memorial to Enslaved Laborers creates a powerful public space for gathering, for contemplation, and remembrance that is open to the inclusion of new narratives and public knowledge around the painful history of slavery. Creativity and imagination are essential to society, not only as a mode of expression, but as a means for making meaningful and impactful change in the world.
May I now invite Rector Professor Falcao, Sir Fraser Stoddard, and Dr. Wild to present the 2022 Leonardo da Vinci World Award of Arts. The Master of Ceremony will escort Mei Jing-yoon to receive this award. Sir Fraser, please. Rector Falcao. And Dr. Wild.
Now, I would like to ask Mei Jing-yoon to deliver her acceptance speech.
Thank you, Rector, President, Professor Grande, distinguished guests. Thank you to the University of Coimbra for hosting this remarkable event and for bringing us together in celebration of science, education, and arts. I'd like to extend my gratitude to the World Cultural Council for their dedication and recognition of the critical contributions made by scientists, educators, and artists to humanity, and for their firm belief that each advancement stands to make a difference for both people and places the world over, and for future generations who will inherit the world we build today. One of the most important lessons that we've learned, not only as scientists, educators, and artists, but as global citizens, as humans, is that the world's greatest challenges cannot be solved through purely technical solutions. Rather, the challenges of our time call for a deeply human response born of creative intelligence, imagination, and collective action. Art and design have always been and always will be deeply human endeavors, generating new knowledge and innovation from new lines of inquiry and points of intersection we discover together as we imagine and build a better, more sustainable, just, and equitable world. Along these lines, I'd like to thank my colleagues and mentors who continue to inspire and support the values and priorities we all share. I'd like to thank Provost Mike Kotlikoff of Cornell University, an extraordinary leader who makes the university a thriving place for academics and teachers and educators, researchers and artists and architects like me. And I'd like to thank the intellectual community that commits every day to making change and preparing the next generation to build an even better world. I'd like to thank my colleagues at Howler Yoon, past and present, for whom this body and work would not be possible, and all the collaborators who do the work with me. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my family. My mother is here today. My partner in life and in practice, Eric Howler, and our daughter, Kaya, who are truly my North Star and constant. American painter Robert Rauschenberg was the second person to ever receive the Leonardo da Vinci World Award in Arts, and I wanted to share a quote by him. "This award is not to recognize my past, but I accept it to promise you a hopeful future. It is a true honor to join a long line of artists, architects, writers, musicians, and others who share the belief in the power of creativity and imagination and the potential for art in all its forms to inspire and build a truly better world with the promise of a hopeful future." Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations to Meijing Yoon. Let us now enjoy a musical performance in honor of the Arts Award laureate, Magnum Mysterium, performed by the Chamber Choir of Coro Mistro of the University of Coimbra.
Oh
Thank you for this delightful performance. May I now invite Professor Gary Marquis, member of the World Cultural Council, to present the winner's book.
Honorable University of Coimbra Rector Amilcar Falcao, distinguished President of the World Cultural Council, Sir Fraser Stoddart, members of the World Cultural Council, 2022 laureates, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored to present the winner's book on behalf of the World Cultural Council and its interdisciplinary committee. For 40 years, this book has traveled the world. Each page bears witness to exceptional men and women who have had a positive impact on science, arts, and education for the benefit of humanity, and who generously share their time, skills, capacities, and vision to promote tolerance, peace, and understanding for the well-being of humanity and the environment. The winner's book is highly symbolic. It is a legacy to be handed to the future. The book comprises a compendium of eminent names of those who have inspired us and encouraged us to go further in our own respective fields. Every year, a new page is signed, a new chapter is written. History is made before our eyes. I would like to now invite Rector Amilcar Falcao and Sir Fraser Stoddart to take their positions behind the table and act as witnesses of honor for the signing of this book. And now I will ask the MC to escort Professor Martha Crago to sign the book on behalf of Professor Victoria Caspi in the presence of our witnesses of honor. And I would like the Master of Ceremonies to escort Professor Claudia Mitchell to the stage to sign the winner's book in the presence of our witnesses of honor. Thank you, Professor Mitchell. Now I would request the Master of Ceremony to escort Mei-Jing Yoon to the stage to sign the winner's book in the presence of our witnesses of honor. Thank you, Mei-Jing. On behalf of the members of the World Cultural Council and the interdisciplinary jury, I would like to express my congratulations to the laureates. So Rector Falcao and Sir Fraser may sit down.
Thank you, Professor Marquis, for overseeing this signing of the winner's book. Today, the World Cultural Council will also pay tribute to young researchers and scholars from Portugal who have achieved outstanding work in the fields of science, education, and arts. The 13 promising young research leaders will receive a special recognition diploma from the World Cultural Council. I would like to invite Professor Paulo Eduardo Oliveira, Dean of the Faculty of Sciences and Technology, to introduce one by one the recipients of the Special Recognition Diploma of the field of science. I also invite Sir Fraser Stoddart to prepare the delivered diplomas, assisted by Dr. Stefan Wild. Professor Oliveira, please give the citation for Filipa Bessa.
Honourable members of the World Cultural Council, dear Rector, I'm very happy to present the laureates of the Special Recognitions 2022. This somehow reflects the lively ambience and research activity that happens within the University of Coimbra. Now, Filipa Bessa is a biologist at the University of Coimbra Marine and Environmental Research Centre. Filipa Bessa researches and combats plastic pollution in coastal and marine ecosystems. She coordinates national projects to develop innovative tools to detect and mitigate marine litter. She has extensively promoted citizen engagement in environmental issues and has been active in bringing more women and girls to STEM disciplines.
Professor Oliveira, please give the citation for Joana Ferreira.
Neurobiologist Joana Ferreira has been outstanding in pushing back the boundaries of neuroscience, conducting seminal work to describe neuronal structures related to learning and memory. She received a Young Investigator grant from the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation in 2021. Her work sheds light not only on how the brain works, but also on the mechanisms of brain disorders. Joana is a respected mentor of doctoral and master students.
Professor Oliveira, please give the citation for João Pesa.
João Pesa is a neurobiologist and assistant professor at the Department of Life Sciences. His research has led to the understanding of how mutations in synaptic proteins trigger brain disorders. In addition to his research, he has also developed an electrophysiology training program for doctoral students and postdocs. João's cutting-edge research has led to several awards, including the 2019 Pfizer Prize, which is one of the most prestigious awards in biomedical science in Portugal.
Professor Oliveira, please give the citation for Paulo Rocha.
Associate Professor Paulo Rocha is described as an energetic leader by both students and peers. His unconventional approaches towards bioenergy and bioelectricity have led to many groundbreaking discoveries. His research, particularly into biosensors, has contributed to fields such as affordable, scalable, clean energy, the prevention of major environmental problems such as harmful algal blooms, and the timely prediction of pandemic peaks, and more personalized pharmacological treatments.
Professor Oliveira, please give the citation for Sergio Domingos.
Sergio Domingos completed his training in physics engineering at Coimbra in 2008. He received international acclaim for his research in vibrational spectroscopy. In collaboration with a worldwide network of scientists, he has studied the chiral recognition problem, molecular astrophysics, and molecular nanotechnology. Following periods in the Netherlands and Germany, he was awarded a prestigious European Research Council grant, which he plans to use to set up a new laboratory at his alma mater, the Coimbra University.
Thank you, Professor Oliveira. And congratulations to the special recognition recipients in science. I would like to invite Professor Maria Paula Paixão, Dean of the Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences, to introduce one by one the recipients of special recognition diplomas in the field of education. Please give the citation for Ana Dias Fonseca.
Ana Dias Fonseca is a postdoctoral researcher at Coimbra's Faculty of Psychology and Educational Sciences, an integrated member of the Center for Research in Neuropsychology and Cognitive Behavioral Intervention. Her work as a clinical psychologist and certified expert in clinical and health psychology has focused on women's mental health, particularly perinatal mental health, e-mental health, and cognitive behavioral therapies. Anna is particularly commended for the complete cycle she has established between top-level research, pedagogy, and knowledge transfer.
Professor Paixão, please give the citation for Hugo Gonçalo Oliveira.
Hugo Gonçalo Oliveira is an assistant professor at the Department of Informatics Engineering of the University of Coimbra and a senior researcher at the Center of Informatics and Systems. His main research areas are computational creativity and natural language processing. His work highlights the importance of the Portuguese language and culture through the development of novel computational tools and resources for Portuguese.
Professor Paixão, please read the citation for Rui Cardoso Martins.
Rui Cardoso Martins is an assistant professor of chemical engineering at Coimbra University. His research activity is centered on the development of novel materials and processes for environmental remediation, focusing on water and wastewater treatment. An important line of his research is the development of low-cost catalysts to reduce operating costs for processing facilities. He is co-founder of 2 companies dedicated to the treatment of liquid and gaseous effluents and environmental protection equipment.
Thank you, Professor Paixão, and congratulations to the recipients of the Special Recognition in Education. I would like to invite Professor Antonio Olayo, Dean of College of Arts, to introduce the recipients of the Special Recognition Diploma on the field of arts. Professor Olayo, please give the citation for Ediclayson Freitas.
Ediclayson Freitas is a PhD student at College of Arts of Coimbra University, specializing in visual arts and performance art. His work, often with marginalized populations, has interwoven theater, performance, and dance, and reflects a deep concern on the environment and ancestral knowledge. His research includes painting, photography, costume, scenography, and artist makeup. The richness of his skills as an artist and his sophistication makes him one of the most interesting young artists of Brazil.
Professor Olayo, please give the citation for Joana Antunes.
Joana Antunes is an assistant professor in the Faculty of Arts and Humanities at Coimbra University. She has focused on the visible and invisible heritage and iconology of the medieval and Renaissance eras. She energetically participates in the organization of scientific events and projects involving the Institute of History of Art, and she maintains a broad network of collaborators. She has earned a reputation as a brilliant young teacher and researcher, with established credit in Portugal and in Europe in the field of the history of art.
The next special recognitions are given to 3 individuals who have worked closely together. Professor Olayo, please give the citation for Carlos Acevedo, João Crisóstomo, and Luis Sobral.
Carlos Azevedo, João Crisóstomo, and Luis Sobral all graduated from the Department of Architecture of University of Coimbra in 299. They represent a generation of architects that began their professional practice at the end of the first decade of the 21st century, at a time marked from a cultural point of view by the world economic crisis and, from a disciplinary point of view, by the aftermath of years of architecture tending towards splendor and globalized action. Carlos, João, and Luís have collaborated extensively and show a genuine commitment and passion for their profession, as well as a transversal and holistic understanding of architecture. Their creative work has focused on the recovery and enhancement of a comfortable and humanized design of space that conforms to the challenges facing the world of today. They have received multiple national and international prizes and have collaborated on many curated works and exhibitions.
Our sincere congratulations to these young scholars. May your careers continue to be successful and enriched with great accomplishments. It is time to delight in the talent of University of Coimbra Ceremonial Brass Ensemble Charamella. Charamella.
Thank you for this wonderful performance. I now have the pleasure to invite Sir Fraser Stoddard to make an announcement concerning the 2023 World Cultural Council Award ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my very pleasant duty as President of the World Cultural Council to issue an all-inclusive invitation to attend the WCC award ceremony to be hosted by the University of Helsinki in Finland next year, that is in 2023. I believe that we are now going to be able to listen and view a short video.
Okay, thank you, Sir Fraser. So you may sit as we watch the video from the University of Helsinki.
In an ever-changing world, universities hold a key role in evoking hope. For centuries, universities have unwaveringly continued to work for the benefit of societies. We have at our disposal the power of research-based knowledge, which gives us a role in guiding the future. I warmly welcome you to Helsinki and the University of Helsinki in November 2023. Together, we are a tremendous force making a difference in the world.
And now I would like to invite Rector Amilcar Falcao to deliver his closing remarks.
Dear participants of the 37th World Cultural Council Award ceremony, I sincerely hope you enjoyed this magnificent ceremony, which reminds us all the best that humanity has to offer. I would like again to express my deepest gratefulness to the President of the World Cultural Council, Professor Sir Fraser Stoddart, and to all the members of its directive board for having given the University of Coimbra the opportunity to host this unique event, bringing it to Portugal for the first time. I would like as well to express my genuine appreciation to all people involved in preparation and organization of the award ceremony, in particular to Ms. Lily Hernandez, to Mrs. Teresa Batista, and all the collaborators of Coimbra University. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to the musicians, members of our academic community, for allowing us to enjoy such outstanding contributions to the artistic culture with the mark of Coimbra. Congratulations again to the prize winners and special recognitions receivers. I am firmly convinced that your contributions to culture, science and education will help us to build a more harmonious, more just and more beautiful world. Thank you all for your presence here in such a special moment. Have a good day and a safe return to your homes. Long life to the World Cultural Council. Long life to University of Coimbra.
On behalf of the World Cultural Council and its members, thank you, Rector Amilcar Falcao, for having hosted this memorable award ceremony. We will long remember your warm hospitality in Coimbra. Thank you to all of you, and once again, congratulations to the winners and the special recognition young scholars.